Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stone back at you with your Puffco Peak Pro Diamond Dab of the Day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, you're going to love today's video and topic, so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all those comments. Let's get started on today's topic, actually. How do we increase and develop courage? Courage is considered by many to be one of the most important human virtues. In fact, years ago it was considered one of the 4 cardinal virtues. And modern psychologists even agree. Learning how to be courageous, even if it's just to ask out that person that you had your eye on for so long, doesn't mean not being afraid. It means learning to do things despite your fears. Let's discuss. Well, you got to build a courageous mindset. You got to embrace your fear. Being courageous truly means doing something despite the fear. Fear comes from the body's natural response, the brain's flight or fight response. The brain sends cortisol, a stress-inducing hormone, throughout the body's nervous system, making the body go into hyperdrive. Fearfulness is a learned behavior based on our brain chemistry, but strengthened by the world around us that has trained us to be fearful. Learning to work through fear and step beyond it is about retraining our mind. Avoiding fears actually makes them stronger and scarier. There's a certain mindset that views emotions as weakness and seeks to suppress them. But suppressing negative emotions only heightens the fear of the negative emotion itself, strengthening it the more they're avoided. So exposing ourselves to things we fear, while being sure to stay safe and be smart about it, can help the brain become desensitized to the fear and even make it easier for us to face. Try not to hesitate. The longer your brain has to come up with excuses for not being courageous, the more time you'll have to panic about the hypothetical negative outcomes. If we're in a situation where we have to pick up a spider, jump out of an airplane, or ask someone on a date, do it without hesitation if you're going to do it at all. Reinforce your successes by giving yourself a reward when you do deal with your fear. Think about it. Learn to be mindful. Being mindful is when we're fully present in the current moment. You see, mindfulness can help change our brain to deal with fear in a more effective manner. We have to give ourselves time to learn that skill, and in fact, it takes practice. When you find yourself overwhelmed with fear, using practices like meditation and mindfulness can help us overcome it. Focusing on breathing, visualizing our mind and the sky in a different way. Getting out of our comfort zone, stepping outside of our comfort zone can cause anxiety, but it's a great way to learn courage. Doing something we don't normally do is what's important to cope with. That's coping with the unexpected, where the fear often springs from. Start really small. Start with actions that induce very little fear and require very little courage to accomplish. Move forward with little increases, knowing your limits, and there are certain things that you cannot do. That's okay. Those fears and limitations are important to have, the don't do's. And guess what? There are things you'll find out you can do that you didn't think you could do, which will build more courage for you and build more confidence. Having confidence allows us to trust our abilities and ourselves and realize that we're more than just our fears. When we have confidence in ourselves, it will make it easier to take courageous action. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, you can fake it until you make it. You can trick your mind into confidence by pretending that you're confident. But that's not necessarily the best thing. Don't let your failures or limitations dictate who you are. Failure simply means you're trying, and it's something to learn from, not to avoid. And remember to have faith in yourself. Courage truly involves trusting ourselves, believing in ourselves. So tell ourselves that you have something to offer. And remember, arrogance and confidence are different. So What we have to do is have courage in the moment. Build courage for specific scenarios. That's right. Display courage at the times you need it. Show courage when you confront situations that are difficult. Conquer your fears by identifying them and overcoming them. And that is an act of courage. And you'll be acknowledging your fears. Don't brush them under the rug. Don't avoid them. And don't try to convince yourself that you're not afraid. That's right. Have the courage. Because what's going to happen as you face your fears is you're going to have a gradual desensitization to them. As you face them, they'll become less intense and have less power. Confrontation, desensitization through visualization. And ultimately, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to be courageous. It will take practice. We will face our fears and deal with the negative emotions, and it will get easier to do. We will use our courage to stand up for others who cannot. That will help us confront our fears overall and help the community that we're in. We will imagine that we no longer have fears, because that's what we have imagination for. Imagination to develop and harness our courage. Well, courage is an amazing thing. I believe everyone has courage. We just have to develop it. Some people say, oh my God, I'm so frightened. Guess what? They might be the most courageous of all. People like me. That's right. We deal with internal fears, internal difficult things, chronic pain, things like that. And guess what? It's hard. And guess what we have to push through? Courage. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. This has been The Real Senior Stoner. We've been talking about what it means to have courage. And take a wonderful diamond hit out of our Puffco Peak Pro. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to do the thing we need to do. Hit that subscribe button. Send to your friends. Talk about Senior Stoner. Send a like, and I reply to all the comments. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Cheers. The big dog. Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining The Real Senior Stoner.